Welcome to this very wonderful episode of the VAR Podcast. Today, we will be delving into a very important subject matter. Food is not just about what we eat, it's a story of who we are. Today, in Igbo food culture, using Enugu for an instance, every plate carries history, tradition, and memory, from the steaming okpa on a very bright morning to the yams that crowns our festival. Our food is who we are. Today, we shall be delving into the Igbo food culture, unpacking memories, histories, traditions, and stories of identity, preserving and keeping, telling us more of our heritage. Today on this live telecast of the VAR Podcast, we have a very resounding tourism guru, an advert practitioner of over 35 years experience spanning from Lagos. Also, the pioneer general manager of Enugu State Structure for Signage and Advertisement Agency, the CEO of Hill Height Communications, and the convener of the award-winning Enugu Food First. We have High Chief Honorable Eze Ezugwu. Thank you, sir, for joining us in this podcast.
Thank you very much.
You look so astounding. Odogu Chinyelogo.
Udo.
Dalo, sir. All right, we are going straight to the reason why we're here today. We're discussing the food culture. But before we throw some questions to you, sir, what food gives you that childhood memory?
Well, if you talk about childhood memory and you're talking about food, in fact, I grew up in a soccer, and the food around us then, we have okpa, we have a chicha, we have otipiri, we have yam, we have rice, we had rice, and all the foods that are available now. But the difference is in the way the food and things around the food were prepared. So okpa today is still the okpa of yesterday, but packaging is now different. If you talk about ayarayaji, it's the same ayarayaji, but packaging is different. Delivery is different. The way you eat the specialties or the delicacies remain the same, but the environment has changed. So looking back or taking myself back to growing up years, I still feel the boy I used to be, enjoying up and all the soccer delicacies.
All right, thank you very much. You know, we're still building up to what we really want to get from you, because you're vast in what you're doing. But I could also remember you telling us stories when we sit down at about 1982 or thereabout, while you were still in the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. There's this special thing about that okpa and coke. Does it still hold sway for you even at this particular time?
Well, back in the years when we were young children doing theater arts, I think that was about 1983 to 1987. That's the period that I studied theater arts. And one of the key things that kind of impressed me most was our food culture. And talking about food then, foods were always tied to festivals. Omabe, you have some people in the soccer do omabe with chicha. like a halumana and all that.
Yeah.
Then okpa. Omabe and soka is associated with okpa. If you come to livestock, eshi, that is pigs, pork, associated with the festival. So you see that these festivals go with food, particular food.
Yeah.
People celebrate them with particular food. So the food culture is always tied to our people's way of life. If you talk about Oriokpa, the Oriokpa there is not just the Okpa's delicacy. It means a lot to the people. It is what the people use to celebrate the coming of the ancestors. Because our people believe that the ancestors visit them from the great beyond. They come in various forms, reassuring them of fruitful harvest and all that. And in welcoming them, they celebrate with food. I think food has always been a very important aspect of our life. Then back in school, as children then, it was very easy to say, this is where your passion lies.
Yeah.
But also, influence from different quarters also helped shape one's future. But from beginning, I knew and I had planned it from time that I would still return back to being a culture analyst, a culture scholar, and a theater practitioner. They're all together. Because the difference between our theater and the Western theater is just in our way of life. They have moved their own a step further, moving it from the ritual level to entertainment level, pure entertainment level.
Exactly.
And the difference between theater, as in entertainment, and ritual is just a narrow line. The belief. Once you remove that efficacy of ritual, it is pure entertainment. Oriokpa you watch today is not the Oriokpa of yesteryears. Today we are now beginning to see the entertainment value
aspect
of some of those festivals.
All right. Okay. Thank you so very much, because you're saying striking things that really gets to us, just like you're preempting most of the questions, because you are a very strong person at Guru in this thing. But Rapo Chakwa Nifeni ni Ebubo Dogweje Maloge. Mana, now there's something I want to ask you in trying to give us an expository of the food culture. You now talked about going beyond the ritual aspect of the thing now to becoming an entertainment package. So what do you have to tell us? Just tell us more, because most times, like you use Oriopa, when you tell people that this thing can be converted for entertainment purposes so that the world can come and watch, they will still direct you back. Oh, our forefathers made this thing and all those kind of stuff. So we want you to throw more light into that which you've said now with respect to going beyond the rituals to entertainment.
Yes. You see, I think the main problem we have is clinging to the past. When you cling to the past, you lose the future, because you will be doing things at the wrong time. If you look at our culture, our way of life, when you tell people about our culture, what comes to their mind is the primitive days, the old days and all that. If somebody sees you eating okpa with a fork and knife, with cutlery, they will say, no, this is not the cultural way. No, it is not. The issue is that today things have changed.
Exactly.
So we begin to modernize. We begin to introduce those elements that are with us. Today, the Gen Z people, you're talking to them about okpa. You're talking about food. All the things that are used to be attached to okpa when we were growing up, you can't attach those things now, because seasons have changed. Before, you won't even see okpa certain times of the year. A particular period, it was there. It is seasonal. But today, you can get okpa, you can eat okpa any day, anytime you want to eat it. So the aspect that you mentioned, which is very, very important for us to discuss, is let us separate ritual let us separate the fetish element from entertainment.
Exactly.
If you remove the fetish aspect of it, you find out that it will be more appealing.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody, let's go to Soka, man, Ada, the festival is starting, there will be pouring of libation. I say, no, I'm a Christian. I can't get involved in that. It is ignorance. All those things are no more being done for efficacy. If you go to seminaries and all that, they have cultural shows.
Exactly.
You see the priests, you see the seminarians playing drums, dancing, recreating our cultural experience through theater. So there is basically no need saying that it is fetish. It is like this. Culture is dynamic.
Exactly.
As you grow, the culture continues to change.
Yeah.
Culture and tradition is the same way. We still do traditional wedding, don't we? But the traditional wedding we do these days, does it have the same importance and attachment as it used to have in the past? No. Modernity has come to play. You see now young people, even nursery school children, graduating from nursery to primary, they wear chieftaincy caps, they wear ishiago, they wear all those things and salute and give themselves a tray. You understand? So things are changing. So in the course of improving our culture, whether it is food, whether it is entertainment, music, dance, we have to take into cognizance the fact that culture is dynamic.
All right. Thank you so very much. I know you've based on the questions we've asked, you've narrowed it down because we started from where you grew up from and what this food brings back to you. Now, we want to know, not just as an Igbo man, but as a titled Odogu Chinyelogo, the food culture. When an Igbo man hear the yam, they tell you, Onwesa, you have to wait until it is that new yam season. What does this symbolize? What role does yam play in a family and also in the festivity of Ndibo?
Well, this question is very, very apt. In Igbo land, what is the place of yam amongst the crops? In almost all the parts of Igbo land, yam is regarded as the king of crops. It is the masculine crop. It is the crop that a man faces to become a man. Yam is not like cassava, it's not like cocoyam. Yam is the king of crops. So when our people think about food, when they think about harvest, when they think about the gods of fertility, where their mind go is
The
yam.
Exactly.
So in order to respect that particular crop, G, they don't just come and say, you plant yam, you eat. When you feel it's matured, you go and harvest it and eat it. No. Eating of yam in Igbo land has been tied to festivities, celebrations that not just thank God for fruitful harvest, for long life, for prosperity, but also to return the glory and favor to Him. Exactly. So before you start eating, let us pray. Let us call our ancestors and say, our Creator, thank you for the season that has passed. Now, we want to now settle down and eat it. Bless us even as we eat it. So that festival, the festivities around it, is what we will talk about when we talk about festival tourism,
Yeah.
event tourism. We create festivals around these harvests and all that, so that we prepare ourselves for planting. In Nsukka, for instance, you have different parts of Nsukka celebrating Omabe. After this year, it will be next people that will do it. After that, the next town will do their own. And during this period, people actually move to those places. They go to their in-laws' houses. They go to their friends' houses. Stay with them. Onunu has come. Manada. They go there, rejoice with them, eat okpa basically. Eat aneshi pork. They eat. These are associated with Thanksgiving. Is associated with returning glory to God.
To God.
So that is the way we grow up seeing it, and that is the way it is going. So when we now say you have to wait for a particular period of the year before you start eating your yam.
Yeah.
It does not in any way prohibit you from eating yam in your house. But a particular people have brought out particular days to celebrate their crops, to celebrate their harvest.
Yeah.
And it is purely on that basis that Iriji and all that take place.
All right. Thank you so very much. While you were saying things about the yam, you made mention of the masculine crop. So that for me speaks like an ego thing. The masculine. That means it is now okay. Is it an abnormal for women to plant
yam?
Yes,
you see, today's world, people talk so much about gender. And I know, and I grew up seeing it happen. Yam is regarded as masculine crop in Igbo land because it is normally handled by men. Even if a woman is very prosperous and has farms where she grows yams or something. No, in most cases, he will say it's the husband's own.
Yeah.
A story was told some time ago by one of my friends. He's no more here with us. He said that when they go to the farm and harvest, their father's farm, they will produce yams. When they go to their mother's own, they will still produce yams. They will harvest yams. But when they look at it, they move large chunk of what they harvested from the mother's side to the father's side because the man must take precedence over the woman when it comes to work, when it comes to farming. So, but things have changed. Even in that maybe olden days era, you still had women that were into farming. You still had women that were given titles as men. You still had women who controlled slaves. You had women who ruled some parts of Igbo land. There are things like that. But amongst all the crops, that chauvinistic tendency of our forefathers reflected there. And they said, yam is for men. And it is the masculine crop.
The masculine crop. Thank you so very much. If you're joining us right away, we're on to a very wonderful cultural and a tourist par excellence, a man who understands tourism into to his no other person other than Chief Eze Ezugwu. Sir, while you were making some points, we understand that documentation is a part of cultural preservation. You have talked about your time, the good old days at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where Okpa and Coke became something so unique. Do you think that the present crop of young people are still keeping or adhering to the food culture, where Indomie is almost preferred to other things. So how do you see the young people of this generation with respect to keeping to that food culture?
Well, as when you talk about documentation, you're talking about preservation, you're talking about conservation, you're talking about keeping for the future things of now and things of the past. You cannot grow without knowing where you're coming from. It is the difference between where you are and where you were before that you can get growth. You can now begin to say we're growing or we're not growing. So, talking about documentation, how do you preserve our culture? Documentation, like before we started talking about writing and doing our culture and our cultural ways were preserved through storytelling, through telling people. From one point, your grandfather said it is like this.
Yeah.
You now tell your own descendants that this is the way it used to be and all that. But today, it is even easier to preserve our culture, to document these things. That is why we are talking about Okpa Hangout. That's why we're talking about Enugu Food Fest, where you try to showcase and preserve our rich cultural heritage. If you go to AI now and type Igbo food, it will bring it out because our people are beginning to bring these things out to social media, to all that, and they are being documented. You don't need physical documentation to write these things. As long as you are talking about it, sharing it, is being documented. So our culture, if we want it to thrive, must be in the forefront of our social media projections and all that. Creating tours, whether you call it event tourism, food tourism, all join. Keep doing what you are doing for others to see that you have it.
Exactly. All right. We want to say thank you. The food culture. We know that food is beyond just to eat. What is the role of the market in preserving this food culture? How will you feel one day now when I wake up now and I got koji? Or maybe everything that is coming now is no longer. What is the role of the market? Is it, yes, we know culture is dynamic. So people, Gen Z, grow up eating domi and all those things. But the role of the market, just like when you traveled outside, you're a man that has traveled so wide, so very far near. You know that feel that comes into you when you see an Igbo restaurant or market somewhere in Dubai or somewhere in Washington, D.C. or somewhere in Pretoria, South Africa. Or maybe you just stay somewhere in Glasgow, you're seeing an Igbo restaurant. You ask somebody, where can I eat that Igbo food? So what is the role of the market?
Yes. You see, when we talk about food, so many things are involved. But first, you that own the food, do you know the benefits of that particular food? People move from places to places in search of food. And I remember that we were always told that food is medicine, and medicine is food. You find out that if we really understand the benefits of our food, the advantages our food has over most of this chemically modified food, chemically produced food and all that, we'll begin to appreciate our food. You begin to know the superiority element in our food. So wherever you go, you start looking for it. You want to see it. I remember some people that schooled with us in UNN many years back. And once you say, oh, say, how is in Soka? I remember Okpa. I remember Okpa. Hey, that Okpa thing. Hey, I remember Okpa 9th Mile. I remember Okpa. Hey, Okpa and Coke saved me. Okpa and this. No more, because it was food that helped them because they didn't have much money to go to big restaurants. But they are now in big restaurants, but they are craving Okpa. They want to have that because they now know that what they were getting almost free is very, very expensive to get. Our food constitute maybe 80%, 70% of today's medical provisions. So food tourism is related to medical tourism. If you want to now say, okay, if you go to India, they will treat you, they will take you there. Nobody is asking, what technology do they use? What did they do? If you go to China, it's the same thing. What they do is that they borrow or they take what they don't have, technology, and modify what they have, their culture, their food. So our food cannot go extinct because you are there, I'm here, many other people are always trying to do one thing to preserve our food. If you go to Dubai, I remember some years back when we went to Dubai, we said, oh, where can you take us to where we can eat Igbo food? We want to eat Igbo food. And we drove around. When we got to the place, there was no Igbo food. They will give you what looks like Igbo food, but it's not Igbo food. And the more our food gets more and more acceptable, countries will open up. And we'll begin to take our food there easily, whether in processed form or natural form. You can take them to anywhere. You now see people going to Dubai, going to America, and they make provision for what they are going to use throughout the period they are going to stay there. They carry crayfish, they carry their ogbono, carry okpe, carry ona, carry ji, buri henine, to go to America. They go there, they enjoy it. They are not craving, what do you call it, asparagus and all the Oyibo things. People now go to, what do you call it, some of these Asian countries, and they eat frog. Because when you come, it is their food, they are eating it, and you say, okay, let me taste it. You eat it. You stick, you eat it, and that is it. So people are beginning to share experience, share culture, share whatever they have with other people across the world. If you're eating okpa today in Nigeria and it is projected in social media, people in America see it, people in Dubai see it, people in India, they see it, and they ask, what is this okpa all about? So if tomorrow they hear that there is okpa festival and they want to go there, of course, they will consider other elements like security, how safe going to Nigeria will be, going to Enugu or eastern part of the country will be. They want to eat tuwo, can they go there, eat it and still return alive? These are the other considerations they will give. But already, our food culture cannot die because we're already pushing it, and people know that we have one of the best food culture in the world.
All right. Thank you so very much. Today has been a very wonderful time talking about the Igbo food culture. If you're just joining us, this is the VAR Podcast. As we normally do, we want to kindly crave your indulgence that you should like our social handles, subscribe to our YouTube, and also share this video. We're still on with Odogwu Chi Nyelugo, a man that is vast in tourism, culture, and also an expert in communication. As a communication guru, having worked over several years, decades in Lagos, outside Lagos, being a consultant to companies in the diaspora, also being one of those persons that sat to look at most of the programs in Lagos State, having also written one or two as a brand manager for Glow, and also having done so many things for the national orientation those days with respect to things that has to do with projecting Nigeria at the National Arts Theatre in Igomu, Lagos. And also, I could remember during the time of Dora, late Professor Dora Akunyili, where you also had a very wonderful role to play when it had to do with one of the programs that has to do with kids. Now, we want to ask, globalization has come just the way you said. You said culture is dynamic. And as a communication expert, before we now go into the Enugu food first, how has technology helped in propagating the Igbo food culture?
It's at times where you go into history and all that, I begin to wonder how all these pieces of information came to you and all that. Because if you look back, for those of us that started the communication business, the communication thing, it's been quite a long time. We've forgotten even most of the things you talk about. I remember that when I started the journey with This Week magazine. I'm sure most of the people now don't even know what This Week is all about. And we joined the television houses. When, for what you're doing now, I had a program, independent program where I was producing, I was presenting, I was directing, and carrying the tape running from Surulere to NTA Channel 10, Roadmaster. And as you're doing it, you finish with your suit in the studio in Surulere, you dust yourself up, remove it. Next minute, you're editing, you finish, you run with your pneumatic tape, and you run to NTA. Most of those things are no more even. But most of the things we did those days, we just package them. We thought we were saving them. You go to the pneumatic tape, they have all gone together. You can't get it. Albums have been lost and all that. So the thing is preservation. Preservation. How do you preserve what you're doing today so that the people that will come after you will be able to use it? If you don't preserve the things you're using today, tomorrow, people that will come will not even know where you started. They won't even know where to continue. So communication, when you say communication, today is very, very vast.
Exactly.
One topic in communication today has given rise to about 100 topics, you understand. When we were starting our own journey, we used to talk about one body of knowledge. You hear about Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, and all that. But today, one book written by one person has been challenged, has been multiplied into up to 1,000 times. So the take home is, let's keep doing it. Let's keep preserving our culture. Don't think that you're not doing it well. Don't think that you're not saying it well. And one thing that I want to tell the young people is that you cannot. There is no way you can write the worst book. There is no way you can produce the worst podcast. You cannot produce the worst audiovisual in any form. So what you are doing, keep doing it. There's somebody who is seeing what you're doing as almost a perfect job. So keep doing it and keep perfecting it. One day you'll get to the point you never even envisaged you can get to.
All right. Thank you so very much. Now we're going to now start coming a bit specific. But before we come specific, we want to ask, what inspired the Enugu food first?
Well, in one of your bits, you talked about Dora Akunyele, you talked about experience with the National Theatre, National Troupe. And The experience from there, and like I said, from the time I was in the university, when I was leaving the university, there had always been this desire to go back to our cultural ways, to produce theater, maybe theatrical works that people will say, yes, this is a theater scholar. So when I came back to Enugu as the pioneer general manager of Enugu State Structures for Signage and Advertisement Agency, ENSA, I faced one major challenge, and that challenge is people. Summing up my decades of experience, decades of working in the marketing communication job to billboard. People started seeing me as the billboard man. Oh, he's a billboard expert. But in the real sense of it, it's just a very minute aspect of what I had done all the years. So while I was thinking about strategically getting the street structures and all the structures that have to do with advertising into place, and getting government to also get revenue, at the back of my mind was just, after this, what next? So even before our tenure was got expired or something, I had the urge. How do I start? There are a lot of things to do about our culture. There are a lot of things to do about our food. There are a lot of things to do about tourism. And before I came back, I think a week or two before I came back to Enugu to take up that the job, I was in Dubai. What was I doing in Dubai? Training Nigerian tour operators on Dubai as a destination. I went there at the auspices of Jan's network. We went there, we trained Nigerians on Dubai as a destination. Why? Because if you're here in Nigeria and you're talking about destination that you don't even know, you can't even go down to the attractions they have there. So I now said, and there again, there is nothing like you going to Dubai to tell them to come and eat your food, going to tell them to come and see your attractions and all that. They will prefer you come and see their own. And I now said, why can't I start something, no matter how small? Let people say, okay, let me go to Enugu at a particular point and do everything I'm supposed to do in terms of experiencing their music, their dance, their food, everything in one place. When do I go to Enugu? Where do I go to the east? Where do I go to Nigeria? It is not about the food only. It is about how the world has taken the culinary thing to. It's very, very high up there. If you bring your chicha and all those things in the marketplace, this and that, many people will not eat it because people are very, very conscious of what they eat. Hygiene. People are very, very conscious of where they go to eat. Security, safety. So that touched me, and I said, how do I create an environment for people that want to have a feel of these aspects of our culture within a safe environment? If they have children and they say, let me take my children to Nigeria, they will eat Nigerian food. They will see Nigerian dances, do everything, participate. What will be the environment? I said, okay, one, you have to get environment that is very, very conducive. Ambience must be there. You must have a place where there is security. It's not where people will be and somebody starts breaking bottles and start running up and down. You have to get a place that is purely hygienic. Not when people are dancing and dust everywhere. you're eating your food and you're covering it so that the next person that is coughing will not contaminate your food. So many elements had to come in. It is not just the food. It is entertainment, like we normally say. It is no more just food. It's no more just music and dance. It's entertainment. Then, when you talk about entertainment, if you look at it from the angle of the way we normally do things is get dance troops. If you want Ikorodo, go to Soka. There is one dance troupe in one village. They are doing very well. Bring them. There is this Okanga masquerade group at Nkano. Bring them. There is this, and that. You look at it, you find out that to bring all these things together will be very, very difficult. You're bringing people that don't even know anything about modernity. The man that has the flute in the village you're thinking about does not even know where to go and all that. So we thought about, one, can we create an ensemble in terms of a theater troupe? Get an existing theater troupe. Discuss with them. Fuse in what you want. If you want a particular masquerade, we are no more talking about masquerade or mabe.
Yeah.
We are no more talking about katakma. You're thinking about the masked character.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. If we get, let me say, Akatakpo Voko, the costume is there. We have trained dancers, professionals. They dance these traditional dances. You get them, get the costume, put it together, and have performances that you can transit from one part of the state to the other part of the state within few seconds. It's not like call Ikorodo people. If we want to feature Ikorodo on stage, we'll get Ikorodo dancers. The theater will produce the music and they will dance it. And we're also talking about participatory audience profile, where people come in and become participants. It's not like a proscenium stage where you are acting here and people are watching and clapping. Yeah. We wanted something that where people participate. In Enugu Food Fest, you see people eating, dancing, going to the stage. There is a flow. Even if you have the proscenium opening and all that, the dancers come, mingle with the people. The people is like a festival environment without necessarily being in a village arena. Yeah. You're free, you interact, you eat. And at the end of the day, it's like a refreshing communion. You feel you have communed with your people. You have communed with the land. You feel there is purgation. Everybody is happy. Not just the food, but totality of our culture. A cultural experience.
That's very lovely, sir. Thank you for putting up such kind of event. Now, you have worked with the government. You have worked with the private sector. You have worked as the boss of your own self, offering advisory and consulting role to several companies. Coming down to Alibu, having stayed in Lagos, we're not leaving the food. When there is this Eyo festival, you know how it feels for the Yoruba people. Oju Day or something, the one that has been done in Ijebu Day, that is Ogun State, brings global traction, and people are running helter-skelter to making sure that they attend such kind of events. Look at the Calabar Carnival. another, just the way people stay in Nigeria want to run to Rio de Janeiro for Samba festival. Do you think, or what can you people do? You people that are ahead of us, that have, mingled with the high and the mighty and all those things. Do you think that brands are doing the Easterners any good? Why don't we have those kind of brands to the multinationals, the same way Glow goes to this thing and all those places? Why is it that we don't get them in the Southeast here?
Well, it's here. It's that question is very, very important, but at the same time, it's a very complex one. You see, because you are talking about interplay of government, private sector, individuals, and all that. How important is our culture? How important is tourism to the government, to individuals, and to the general public? If you're looking at it from the brand perspective, how big is the buy-in from corporate bodies? I must tell you that in Lagos, for instance, you can have access to the corporate affairs managers. If you leave Lagos and move into what they call upcountry, whether it's in the north or it's in southeast, south, and all those things, those are collection centers where they collect money. The banks, the big corporate body, they are not investing anything in terms of corporate social responsibility in these areas. They don't see these places as being instrumental to their growth. The federal government recognizes the fact that these people spend money as corporate social responsibility. But how broad is that? A bank will tell you, okay, we cannot sponsor you, we cannot do this because we cannot open accounts. How? You want to sponsor a project that is going to project a people, project a country, something that is going to be meaningful to you and to others. And it is going to house about 300 elites, 300 people that are passionate about culture, about growth of their culture. And you're saying, how many accounts are we going to open? You're not talking about business. You're not talking about business out there. You're not talking about a kind of how people perceive you, the goodwill of the people. What you're talking about is the minute aspect of relationship of opening account. You look at big multinationals in Lagos, Abuja, and all that. They don't look at us in Igbo land as being a viable, having viable audience. They just give us and we'll consume. Shortly before we had the Enugu Food Fest, there was, I don't want to mention their name, another food fest in Enugu here, holding at Ngo Park and all that. It's free. Food fest in Enugu, talking about pasta, talking about chemically produced food and all that. And they're talking about food because it is free. Our people will rush to go and eat, and it is food fest. There is nobody monitoring what is going on. There's nobody saying this. These people they're capitalists. The factory rejects. The things that come out of factories, the packaging and all, the ones that didn't form well, they don't throw them away. They pack them. So what the management is, okay, let's use them to do children parties, Christmas time. They mix the stuff they have and come for children party and bring people and say, oh, they are doing party for children, they cook for children and everything. These are factory rejects. They don't open fresh carton to do all those things for you. Because I have done events in Lagos, they come, they beg you, they set up their kitchen there and be giving children food and all that. It's far from what we're doing. What we're doing is promoting our indigenous food. Let people know that it is better to eat our indigenous food. These foods are not chemically produced and all that. So, but government also has a role to play. If you come to Enugu, for instance, you cannot but commend the government for taking so many initiatives and producing maybe good environment for tourism to thrive. We were doing Enugu Food Fest in a facility that is private owned and all that. But once government came up with something very, very top class, international conference center, we quickly moved to international conference center. Marketing the show was easier because people wanted to see the international conference center. Government is talking about how do we contribute through tourism towards how much the GPA, 30 billion. 30 billion. Yes. Do you understand? How do you contribute? It is through things like festivals, food festivals, and all that. Because when you're doing that, you're empowering innovation. Entrepreneurs spring up. People that cook see people that buy. They raise money. They expand. They employ people. So it is a chain. That's the way to grow. During the food fest, somebody came all the way from Spain, brought so many people within Nigeria to Enugu just to be part of the food fest. At the end of the day, they were in hotels. They were eating. They were drinking. And all sorts of exchange in terms of money. So that is how we grow. We don't have to wait for Nigeria Bar Conference to hold again in Enugu so that our people will have outlet to sell. The National Arts Festival is coming to Enugu. So things are opening up. But let us make sure that these things promote our culture. These things give us platform to promote our culture. Not when they come. You are now presenting things that don't even tell our story. They don't even say our identity. So I believe that everybody must be conscious of it. Even people, you're talking about multinational, you're talking about government. What of the individuals? You call people to come and participate in something because of that narrow-mindedness for people, because of that inferiority complex. Because you might think you are up there. You go to Dubai, go there and stay in one room for 1 week. You don't go anywhere. You don't even know that there is desert safari. You don't even know that there is a down cruise and all that. You sit down in UK in one room with TV. After it, you go around and take pictures and you come back. But somebody that has gone to Unguo Park, stay at peace with nature, eat the local food, play music, and the person is gone. Who gained more? It is the person that really enjoyed the culture, that really enjoyed the environment. It is not about government all the time. We have to be very, very intentional about this.
The individuals need to start also getting involved. Yes. Yeah, because when we come together, it makes much sense. Now, sir, we want to thank you for coming. You know, one of the issues we have with bringing people that are so vast in a particular thing is that they beat time and you don't know what else to or how else to come in because these people are like, they have become doyen in that place. They sleep tourism, they sleep culture, they eat tourism, they eat culture. Everything about them is just about this. We want to say thank you so very much for coming to this very podcast. This is a man that is vast in whatsoever he does. And we are hopeful that as time goes by, we'll keep on bringing him not just about the food culture, but to also do other things. I want to thank you, our listeners and viewers. Thank you for always being there and being supportive. This is the VAR Podcast, where we bring conversations that matters and we put men on the spotlight. Before we allow Chief Eze Ezugwu to go, the pioneer GM of ENSA, the CEO of Hill Heights Communication, and the convener of the Enugu Food Fest. On a final note, sir, so that we can wrap up this, I want to ask, like you said, food tells story. If you are to pass down one recipe to the next generation, what Igbo food would that be? Makodogwa say no marokwe isi o. So cake I see the okpa. Pass it down to us.
Okpa is you're already doing a lot in that area. We're all looking forward to your December Okpa Carnival. And I'm sure that after it, Okpa will not in any way feel shortchanged when it comes to global food culture.
All right, thank you very much. You now brought about something. We said it's still part of the last. When you mentioned Okpa, at a point, it was said, it is not Nindibo. Yes, or Nindibo, the food of the Southeasterners. The Anambra cooks Okpa. Everybody cooks this Okpa. And there's been this little battle. Which people owns this delicacy? Just like an Nsukka man cannot come up to say they own Abacha. So is Okpa the Kende with the intellectual right and property on the night mile?
Yeah. You see, Okpa. Okpa is Igbo food.
Yes.
Now, in almost all parts of Igbo land, you have the beans, Okpa bean. You have different varieties of beans. You have the one they call Egba. They have different type. But when it comes to Okpa, as in Okpa, is Nsukka. We have Abacha. We have all those things in Nsukka and everything, but not as recognized as Okpa. Okpa Nsukka is there because of the way Nsukka people prepare it. When you eat Okpa Nsukka, you are from any part of Igbo land, from any part of the world, you will taste it and say, oh, this is unique, this is different. And it has passed from one generation to another generation to another generation. Night Mile does not have Okpa. Night Mile, Ubolo, these are hubs. Gateways. They're transmissional hubs where people journey to carry their wares, the Okpa, to go and sell. Somebody in Ubolo or around Ubolo, or this, will go to Ubolaf to sell Okpa. Some people that, the northerners, the people that go towards that axis, will tell you, hey, Okpa Ubolo, Okpayago, Ubolaf, and all that. So it is Okpa that our people are known for. And it is Igbo food.
Exactly.
So there is no confusion about it. It is Igbo food. You can cook Okpa in Lagos.
Yes.
No matter how you cook it, the best way to describe it that you got it very well. It's
Exactly.
as if no.
Exactly.
That is, it tastes so nice as if it was cooked in the village.
Wow, that's good, sir. Okay, we want to say thank you. It's been an exciting moment with Chief Honorable Eze Ezugwu. Please do make sure you continue to like our channels, subscribe to our YouTube too. We want to say thank you. Make sure you share them. We want to really say thank you and thank you and thank you. It's nice having this great doyen in this episode. We look forward to having more of him. Thank you and do have a very wonderful time.